Today it's 11:45 Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. My name is Brian Pistone. I just wanted to show you guys what the website looks like, and maybe if somebody jumps on live today, we would go through. Let me cut to my face here, even though you probably don't want to see my ugly mug. Maybe we could go through searching live today with someone. In the meantime, I think what I'll do is just talk through what I would do back in the day. I'm a technology teacher, an entrepreneur. I have a real estate license and do a lot of stuff with real estate. I'm a dad. I'm a Christian. And work really hard to just help people. So that's the whole business with this Claritydojo website. So if you're on the website, this is what it's going to look like. And site with video and transition. So I'm on OBS right now. This is a new software for me, so it's kind of like a video switcher, which is kind of cool. So I'll be video switching and presenting live on multiple windows right now. I'm just kind of live on Twitch. I guess that records there. I posted on Instagram just to see if anybody would jump on from the Instagram following. I didn't really tell any of my students. I have about 100 students at a high school right now. I have one of those students who is in one of my classes that is active with this program on the website. So if you want to just check out the website, it's claritydojo.com. And I'm the one that's behind everything here. So if you're on here and you send any messages or get involved with anything, it's me. So I'll be the one answering questions. And there's two courses. So there's this Career Clarity course, which is finding people that do the thing that you want to do. So the whole thing is like connecting with people and finding what you want to do for your future. So like the symbolism here is, we're on a journey and we're connecting the dots to whatever goals that we have. And this is this is very linear how it shows it here, but there's lots of ups and downs that I've seen in my life. I went to Rowan University on a scholarship, but they didn't offer the program that I wanted to study. And back in the day, this is like 1998. The internet was just kind of getting off the ground. We were dial-up all through my high school career, and cable connection with like actual websites and AOL back right when I started at college. But the idea of finding people nowadays who do exactly what you want to do, and then doing some research on them prior to you just jumping into a college or a career path. Sometimes we start with like the topic, and then maybe find out the major, and then just take pick a college based on topic and major, and then you may be like paying for it already and find out that it's not what you want, which is kind of what I did. I went and I went in as an engineer, but I wanted to be an architect, and I just got a scholarship. I only saw a couple of schools, and I picked one, and that was that. So design for me is something that I still do. I teach television broadcast, and we do a lot of different graphic design work. I also, in real estate, do exactly what I wanted to do, which was, build and renovate and do housing type things. So, in a roundabout way, I got there way, way, way later, and lots of dollars later because of spending on school. So, that I think is one of those main points that I want to talk about is if you can find a shortcut when you haven't spent any money yet and you have a lot of time, especially in this pandemic situation we got going on, do it. So this course is a free course. So I'm already logged in, but this left window, or if you're on your mobile device, it's like the first window that pops up. It's just pop your email in. It'll send you an email. You confirm. You jump on the site, and then it automatically starts you on your profile page, which looks like this. And there's two courses that are free. One's a goal setting course, which I'm not even enrolled in this test account, but that'll send you an email once a week, and the goal setting that's on there is all of the goal setting exercises that I've kind of put together through all the books that I've read. So I can't say that I did not put them together, that I've tried from other people who put them together. So there's a lot of people out there to talk about goal setting, and this is something that you can do daily. You can do, if you set up the right kind of practice and habit of setting and handwriting goals, you end up going to this next level place of, where you started to where you want to go based on the goals that you're setting. So I know for a fact that goal setting works. And if you prompt yourself, this will just send you an email once a week with the template of, what you might want to try. And then you can go from there. And there's like Google Docs and that kind of stuff there. But what I wanted to show today was Career Clarity, this course here. So I'm enrolled in the course. So as soon as you create an account, you can enroll whatever course you want, and it's all free. And then you jump into this page. So it just breaks down into 2 sections. So connecting with 3 to 5 mentors, and in a recent podcast that I came across, and it's in one of these course lessons, it talks about making a bigger list. So like 100 people that you may want to connect with, which makes it challenging. And one of my students is actually doing that right now. I think he said he's somewhere in like the 40 or 60 range. And the more you put on there, the deeper it gets, the more you start to learn about people who are in this business and what they're doing, and then maybe what schools they went to and what degrees they hold and what skills they possess. And then from there, you can start researching those things and starting to do it yourself. And one of the things the course teaches you to do is to create your own kind of like portfolio. So I also run a podcast where I interview people. The last podcast with Trevor Reagan from the Learner Lab podcast, he's awesome. And he's traveling the world and meeting with scientists on how to learn better and how to achieve. And we kind of talked about like what he would recommend for a student. And if he were to say, hey, how do you get started with the thing that you want to do, the passion that you're kind of just getting into? And it's a question that I ask a lot because I hang out with 14, 18-year-olds as a high school teacher, and we talk. One of my things is we talk career a lot. So getting right into that, and how do you do that? So creating this list of a couple mentors just to get clear on who does what you do and what do they do. That's something that I think is an easy thing to accomplish nowadays. So first you start with a search, and then you move on to messaging people that you've searched out and potentially scheduling an interview. So that's like a follow-up process. Then I have a set of interview questions that I kind of put together over the years and tested them on the podcast a bunch of times, and then you schedule a Skype call, and what you can do is you build back to that podcast that I was talking about with Trevor. You build a portfolio of your interests. So like, let's say you want to be an architect. Well, you start talking about architecture. You start writing about architecture. You start making videos about architecture. And one of his things that made him go viral was his videos. So he took it upon himself to learn Adobe's products, and they're relatively inexpensive. Students at our school can get the whole suite for free, the whole Adobe Creative Cloud. So he learned the Creative Cloud stuff, and then he started making better videos than anybody else that was doing video work about learning. And one of his videos got really viral into the millions of views, and now basically that is his platform to all this other work that he's doing. And people find him to ask him to come and speak or come and help them, or like he does workshops with coaches, high-level coaching, universities, schools, businesses, that kind of thing. So his advice was to start a portfolio, and whether you're making videos, making or like writing, or just have a base of knowledge, and that shows that you're serious and you're putting stuff into maybe a website or some form of a portfolio. And what I recommend in this course is to use Skype to do interviews with people that you find, and you can record them. It's just a one-click record thing. So easy. So all of a sudden now you have all these quote-unquote video podcasts that you can copy and paste up to YouTube. And I'm doing exactly that. And if you click over to podcast, like these are all the episodes that I've created. And the whole website and building a website, that gets more complicated. All of this, the website and the learning the course platform is all built on LearnDash. It's a plugin for WordPress, so it's all built on WordPress. I have to host it on a server and then load in WordPress and then load a theme on top of that, and then add plugins on top of that to make all this stuff work. So it can get complicated, but if you just go to the YouTube page, it's so easy. It's like, all right, well, create a YouTube channel, and then on your channel, you have all of this. How do I get to the main? Yeah, so this is what it looked like. Basically, you make a piece of art for the top, you make a little logo over here, and then you have all of these interviews of you interviewing somebody that you maybe want to do the job that they're doing, or they're interested in something you're interested in. I'm also interested in music. I used to DJ. I played drums. I performed all over the northeastern part of the United States. You could start a podcast on anything like that, and you just interview people and talk and like show basically what they're about. So you ask questions to show your audience what they're about. So that's what I kind of modeling in this website and this podcast, is that it's not that hard to use Skype, click the record button, and then interview some people that are doing the thing you want to do. So that's kind of the gist of the site, and I wanted to maybe do it live. I don't see anybody in on the stream right now. It's showing me that I have no viewers on Twitch, so this will end up on the Twitch channel. So if you stumble across this and you want to check out the website, and you have any questions, reach out on the website, or just create a quick free account. And as soon as you create an account, you get an email that says, hey, jump into the course. And you might even get an email from me, like I see who registers for this site. It's not a whole lot of registration. There's only like 2 participants right now, but I know for a fact this works, and it's working for me in my in learning. So I'm learning through doing the podcast how to better network. So I've learned a bunch of stuff since I started this project back in January, and I'm just trying to share it along with maybe like the 14 to 20-year-old demographic. Like you guys are out there hunting right now for what's the next thing. We're in a pandemic. Like, how can I survive if something like this happens again? Is this like the new normal? Connecting with people and finding education online. I mean, we're all kind of my school's online right now completely. It's a different world, but like, how can you build skills that might be useful in this type of world that you can monetize and help? So I don't know, for instance, right now I'm learning how to build more online shop type things. There's a ton of stuff for free online, and then there's paid courses. I've definitely paid for mentorship for real estate courses and earned thousands and thousands of dollars based off of my investment in that. So I know that paying for coaching to get from like here, like I kind of am interested in and am researching to see if this thing will make money, to like proof of concept it works, to now I'm like, I really understand it because I'm asking all these questions to this mentor who's been doing it and has answers. That I think is one of those things that I have witnessed in my life, that this is a free course, but if you get a coach that does the thing that you're doing, or a mentor that does the thing that you're doing, that pulls you in and gives you that type of insight into what it is that you might want to do, then that's huge. So I'm just going to jump over and show a quick and actually there's a video. So if you click on this first one, the very first lesson, this search tool, this right here shows a website called recruiting.net, and it gives you these boxes. So I'll just jump over. You can search LinkedIn, and I recommend Twitter as well. And you can search job title, and then location or keywords. You can include the school that you want to go to, what university maybe, the skills or keywords, like in for instance, I say, maybe over here, the job title, and then like Photoshop, or keywords to include. If you look in this lesson here, I have a Google Classroom set up for this. If you wanted to jump in on that, it's the group code there. I haven't really done a lot of lesson work in there. Most of the lessons are built on this WordPress website, but if you jump into Google Classroom, let me know, and I can interact with you there. But basically, you can use it's a graphic interface, and it uses Google. It uses search modifiers in Google to search the LinkedIn database. So keywords like jobs, college majors, colleges, awards, locations. Years is another one. So there's a tip right here. You can search like 2014-2018, so that they're just recently graduating from the college and only a couple years out, and then you can see like what a beginner in the career looks like. Or you can even search like the current year. So like 2020 would be, so 2020 minus 4. So 2016. So 2016 to 2020, people who are in the college. So I don't know, let me just search my alma mater. So people in the college, I can go like Rowan, and then let's try 2016-2020 and just see if anything happens. I'm not going to even enter a job title. And then finding people on LinkedIn. So this is the actual search that they're using in the Google search bar. It's like a bunch of search modifiers, and you know how, like, most people know that if you put quotations around something, it searches for that exact term, that exact way. But this is, you know, how it searches the LinkedIn database. But if you click open in Google, this starts to spit back people who are currently in Rowan. So this person is a mentor. Let's take a look. A mentor at Rowan University, approaching a 2020 graduation for accounting. So any accountants out there, maybe you reach out to Anthony, and then you would, from there, and this is what recruiters do. So people like this tip from this website came from a recruiter who came to my high school to speak in front of the whole high school. And he gave this tool as like a tip, and it was just like a one-off thing, and kind of just kept blowing through his presentation. And at the end of the presentation, like, I was messing around on my, like, I think I had a laptop with me. I started like Googling, like playing with it. I'm like, this is incredible for students who were interested in doing exactly what I'm saying, you know, might be an interesting thing for you to try. Go on LinkedIn and find people who are doing this thing, and there it is. It basically does it for you, and you don't need a LinkedIn account. So like, some people might be hesitant to build a LinkedIn account because it's like more of a professional social network. You know, actually in the on the Claritydojo Career Clarity course, there's a lesson about setting up your LinkedIn account. So that's this right here, if it'll load. Sometimes the page loads a little slow. I'm still working on getting everything to load quickly. But there's this awesome tutorial set on LinkedIn's website for students that shows you how to set up your LinkedIn profile and how to use the algorithm. So like, LinkedIn's really powerful. Like, the thing it's designed to do is to link people together that have similar search or similar vocabulary in their profile. So if you set up your profile, and there's tips all throughout this tutorial set, you might end up, and you can then search LinkedIn without having to use this other tool. But sometimes it's a lot. So like, rather, like, if you don't know what you're going to do, maybe you start with this recruiting website and start to find people who are doing something, and then you can kind of research what they're doing. So like, we have this guy up, and like, maybe he wrote a book, or it looks like he's posting on LinkedIn's website. So you might want to cruise through his stuff. Well, I guess here you would have to sign up for an account. But you may want to cruise up, like, and maybe read the articles that he's writing, or if he's got a book, or tutorials, or a YouTube channel, or you can search on Instagram. Instagram is probably one of the best sites to connect. So there's a lesson on the site that goes over one of the tools. I'm going to go back to messaging and scheduling an interview here. Sometimes it's as easy as, hey, I love your work. I'm working towards a career in your field. Could we speak for 15 minutes? Maybe a Skype call. Just that quick message might give you, you know, a yes, and then you set up, and now you're kind of on your way here. There's techniques that are described in Gary Vaynerchuk's stuff. So if you've ever seen Gary V, he's a little rough around the edges. He likes to curse and, you know, be himself. And I love Gary. Great job. You know, huge inspiration. And I'm a little bit more reserved in my language, although I understand where he's coming from, and I love that he's inspiring people to do more with the contemporary situation of being on the internet and being able to connect. So a lot of the website, like why I even got started, was inspiration from listening to Gary Vee. I have all of his books. I watch all of his stuff. He's on live every day on Twitter and on Facebook. But Jab, Jab, Right Hook, that book talks about how to jab is getting involved in the culture of the person on their website or their social presence, wherever that is. And then, you maybe be commenting on their stuff. And then eventually you're giving, maybe value hey, I love this. And have you seen this? Have you read this book? And maybe they respond back to you. And now you're kind of building a relationship. And then eventually you might ask hey, I'd love to come check out your office or whatever, and then that puts you in more of a business professional relationship, and it's all just sharing and connecting. So that would be a book I'd recommend. But there's this podcast that popped up in doing my research. It was this guy Travis Chappell, and I hope I pronounced that right. Travis was on with John Lee Dumas, who runs this Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast, and that podcast is number one on iTunes. It's a huge. He makes $200,000-$300,000 per month just doing sponsors for that website and a variety of other products that he sells online. So if you're an entrepreneur, maybe check out that podcast. But this technique that was discussed on the podcast was awesome, so I wanted to kind of share it here. And I'm crediting him for it here, and I'm hoping he's okay with me sharing it. But he shared it for free there. I'm just kind of passing it on to my audience. Basically, it's that idea of creating a list of 100 people, and it's hard, so it gets deep. And then checking out their Instagram story. That's their 24 hours, so it's their current life situation. That's exactly what they're focusing on. They're either advertising what they're doing or trying to get you to comment or get you to look at them and give them a heart. Whatever it is, that's them right then and there. So that you get a kind of clue as to what's going on with that person. And then something you can do to participate with what they got going on is take a screenshot and share their stuff with your audience, and maybe in the caption summarize to your audience why they should check out that person's work. And then maybe connect it to what you got going on and how it's impacting you. And then tag them. Do I have it there? Share screenshot in the caption, summarize why your audience check out their work. I should have put tag them there. That's the most important part. So I'm going to edit this page. I don't know if I can do that on the fly here. I guess I can go back over here and over here. I don't think you guys are seeing what I'm doing though. So if I go to courses, well, I'll go back and do that later, but basically tag that person. So I kind of modeled this here. So I took a screenshot of the podcast on my phone. I posted it on the Claritydojo Instagram account. And then I said, hey, to my followers, go listen to this podcast now. And Travis responded. I used his technique and he responded. I tagged Travis in the post, and he got back, and that was awesome. So I didn't ask Travis then and there hey, would you want to be on my podcast? Could you share more with my audience? I just kind of left it at that, and then maybe later I would follow him and kind of tag him on other stuff, and just check out his stuff. If it makes sense, eventually connect and bring that to more of a business relationship. So that's the gist of this whole coursework is all right, let's build a list of people who are doing something that I'm interested in, and then start to learn the vocabulary of those people. What do they have on their social profiles? What are they talking about? How do they talk when they produce videos? And then start doing it yourself. And then, does this feel right? And then if you feel like you're on the right track, you start connecting with these people. and maybe producing your own kind of interview style podcast of you on your journey, picking up what it is that you're going to do. And then, from there, it starts to network and build and build and build. And part of, and I don't think I've talked about this yet, but like, you want to connect with people that are not just like high level people. So like Gary Vee, he's got millions of followers, and like here, Stephen Pressfield, he responded to one of my things. He's, these guys like write books and are New York Times bestsellers. They may or may not get back to you, but who you may want to contact before you commit to plunking down money for college is people who are currently in the school that you want to go to. So back to this like X-ray search. If you search, all right, I'm thinking about going to Rowan to be an accountant, and you search for the this year, and then you talk to this dude Anthony, who's currently in Rowan and graduating this year, and you say, hey Anthony, what professors should I be seeking out as soon as I get on campus? And then maybe what classes should I take, and what classes shouldn't I take, and what professors shouldn't I take? Those are questions like what should I do, what shouldn't I do, that come up in the course that are, I think, are really helpful. Like, sometimes the negative question brings about a better answer. So what you may find is like, you might be thinking like, hey, I want to be, like for me, I wanted to be an architect. And if I would have did this and said, contacted like a couple guys that were graduating from Rowan and say, hey, how's the architecture going over there? And they're like, we don't do architecture. I may have been like right away, all right, rule that school out, keep going and find somewhere to go. But I didn't have the internet back then and all these types of social platforms and amazing things that you can do nowadays. So that's part of my journey, like, why I'm here. I'm like, hey, if you're interested, there's ways to do it that might be better and a little bit different than the traditional way of like, pick a major or pick a topic that you're interested in, and then a major that, relates to that topic, and then a school that has that major, and then go to that school. Because there may be stuff that you may not know, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And then by asking people who are really involved in that specific niche, you get all this information back. So I wanted to show, I was on a roll there for a second, messaging and scheduling the questions. So like the negative sides of things. What do you recommend for training? What resource do you recommend? Are there tools or skills that I should acquire? Is there anything you recommend me to do? Is there anything you recommend me not to do? So those negative questions. And then I like these questions, have been turning up some interesting stuff. So best career success, worst career mistake, and sometimes instead of saying mistake, you can say your favorite failure. Is there a favorite failure? And these questions here come from Tim Ferriss. I thought I quoted him here, but these couple questions here at the bottom here come from Tribe of Mentors from Tim Ferriss. He's another one of those New York Times bestseller guys. 4-hour work week, 4-hour body, 4-hour cook. But the Tribe of Mentors has a lot of good interviews with all these famous, movers and shakers. And it's just a question set that he developed, and he emailed and kind of had people answer and get back to him, and then he put it in the form of a book. So, that mentality of finding all the successful people in your line of work before you take on the venture. I've heard tons of stories. A chiropractor who tours the entire world to every chiropractic place that is top rated in, Yelp. So you use an app and you find out all the most highly ranked places in the country. Maybe it's just national. And then you go on that journey as soon as you graduate from your chiropractic school, or maybe while you're in school. You go and you tour, or maybe even before you go to school, you tour all these different places and you talk to them. Where should I go to school? Where did you go to school? What would you recommend? And then you find out what all the best chiropractic places are doing. This place has like this major holistic approach. This is how they built their business. And then you find out just by experiencing it, which ones are what vibes with you. and then you build your education based on that experience, and then go and do that, and you then end up building your business exactly how you saw somebody else do it, and make it your own. So I know that there's been examples of this where somebody did that, and then somebody just graduated and tried to start their own business from scratch and didn't have any experience, and then like they're trial and erroring all this stuff, and they've never seen a real chiropractic business working in all of these different places. You get all these great ideas, and you start to put them all together into your own special sauce. So that's the whole thing with this course, is like, how can you get a whole broad view of what's going on currently in either colleges or out in the career. I talk to a lot of students who want to, like, I'm on Twitch because a lot of my students want to be game developers. So gamers, go and talk to somebody who is developing. What coding skills do you need? What design skills do you need? What software are they using? What's this? And what should you do? What shouldn't you do? And get yourself a portfolio and start building games right away. So that's the kind of stuff that I think that the course can really help with, is thinking through and organizing your stuff and maybe building a portfolio. So yeah, that's if I jump back, is it? I don't think I wanted to go there. I wanted to go to the course. So back here, that's the whole first part, is kind of like searching out and making a list on a worksheet or a spreadsheet, and building your keywords of like what you're searching for. And then eventually you might set up interviews and record them on Skype. Maybe you set up a LinkedIn portfolio, and maybe you're just building from there. And then the second part here, like different mindset things and building a positive environment and positive influence on your habits. The goal journal, and that I think is the same thing as the goal setting course, but it just doesn't send you emails every week. The cool curation list best of is like a forum, so that I have to, I think I set that up, but then we can do it in like the course discussion board. Let's see, course discussion, and as of right now, let me see, feed. No activity course. Like I said, I'm still building here. There's the course. And let's see if we're in cool curation. Does it give me a way that I can post in a forum? No, it just takes me back to the course. I'm gonna have to play with that. I do have a forum set up in here where you can like have a username and you type in stuff and people can comment and reply. But like I said, it's still in its infancy. I'm the guy that's building it. It's all like free, and I'm just doing this to see if I can try to help people. Back to co-curation, and then this is an article I wrote. I read a really good book that kind of helped with this. David Brooks' Second Mountain, Quest for Moral Life. If you're not sure what you want to do, or like you start doing this stuff, these questions can really help get you thinking towards it, and then maybe your subconscious works on it and you start to get curious about certain things, and then you keep researching those things until maybe you have a good conversation with somebody, or find somebody who's doing something that would be interesting to you. So this whole section here goes over good questions that you can ask. What actually gives me the deepest satisfaction? What is life asking of me? What is life giving me for preparation to be a certain thing, or to help people a certain way? What would I do if I wasn't afraid, if I weren't afraid? What are the problems around me? One of the best questions that I like to ask all the time, and I ask this in my podcast interviews, is what's the highest and best use of my time on Earth? So, time is a kind of a thing that when you're younger, maybe it's not as... and I think everybody understands it. Like we all want to be optimizing our time and doing something that we're passionate about. So passion, and then also useful and worthwhile, and like, is it really serving people? Is this the best thing I could be doing? What's the best thing I could do? Because I'm only here for a certain amount of time, and that's that. So, I like to think that way, and like maybe, reframes your thinking a little bit. So that's kind of like the overview of the course. I would love to have feedback and, comments if you guys are. I don't know how people comment on Twitch. If you've come across this on Twitch, I might try to grab this video and post it on YouTube and post it on Facebook and post it around Instagram, IGTV, and see what you guys are thinking. I'd love to have comments and participation, and maybe see if this type of strategy would help you pick a career or get into something maybe that you want to get into and you're passionate about right away. One of the things I know I've helped my students get into is internship like positions where they're getting paid even in high school. So doing video production work is what I teach. We have a couple students who do like social media stuff for local businesses and set up their own contract and work with their parents and maybe get a little bit of equipment as they're working. You can get paid hundreds of dollars per post or per piece of media that you're creating, and if you do a great job, then you get called all the time to do this type of video production work, and that I think is something I would recommend for anybody out there. If you're interested in something, do it right away, and then if you don't know how to, who is doing it, and then how could you maybe do a portion of it or learn the things that you need to do so you can start doing it. So that's what I got for you today. It was a little run here. I was out 36 minutes looks like record time, live time. I don't know if anybody ever popped in on the Twitch channel, but this will be posted out, and I would love to see what you guys are thinking. Give me some feedback. How can I make this better? How can I make this the course more user friendly? And does it make sense? One of the things that I think a lot of people are struggling with is not thinking that this is worth their time, or this sounds hard. I don't know how to start. And the one thing that you can do that we talked about with Trevor is just try. It's just as simple as that. What is one step that you can do is just start searching and see if you start to find things that maybe you're interested in. And then the next step is like, all right, well, maybe try to talk to somebody. And if you don't know how to do that, we can even set up a mock interview where we go through it together and you test it on me. I'd be down for supporting people like that. So just tossing that out there to see what you guys are thinking, and see if anybody out there would benefit from this. I could definitely help you if you're interested. So that's what I got for you guys. Have a good one.